Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Rise Up. No, this isn't After Dark. Damn it, it's Market Watch.
It is another episode, though.
It is another episode. Technically, Market Watch on September 22nd ended, and now this is whatever has been birthed afterwards. But no, everybody, it is September 22nd, and we are 18 minutes behind schedule because I have run into a whole slew of new technical problems and had to kill the last stream. Meanwhile, the people in TikTok have just learned how much I swear when I am not on air. And yeah, we all
see, I couldn't hear that. I missed out. I could see it. I could see you, but I couldn't hear it.
Ah, damn. Yeah. Anyway, Bearded going, yes, such a great show. But those of you who are watching this on YouTube afterwards, or in podcast land, although I don't think this is being sent to podcast land. I don't even know what's happening anymore. I messed this up so badly, but this just seems like Market Watch. So without further ado, talking about the technical snafus, we'll just kind of get straight into it. Doug, after 20 minutes of just listening to me kind of cuss and everybody else cuss, or me cuss, how are you? How was your day been? How was your weekend?
I'm good. Today was a better Monday of Mondays, but it's still Monday. So, and I'm speaking from not charts, but just life in general. So you know what? No complaints. It's Monday, but it's Monday.
Yeah, we're good, dude. Glad things feel good in a day when the markets are red. But yeah, guys, so the first things we'll be talking about today is obviously markets are red, right? Which is weird because stocks are green, Russell 2000's green, the NASDAQ's green, the S&P 500's green, gold's green, silver's green, uranium's green. The commodities look great, stocks look great, crypto has really just not been great. But EcoFusion over on TikTok says my Bitcoin short is fire emoji. So that is wonderful. Already seeing requests coming in for TI on Solana and Hyperliquid. Rada wants to know also, Doug, what your Twitter handle is. We'll get to all that in a second. But first of all, let's just paint the picture that I was describing previously. So let's just get a sense, like the market across the board. And when I say the market I mean all of those markets, stocks, commodities, they are all behaving the way things should be when you are being given an extra rate cut that you weren't expecting. And this is the stock market on the daily time frame, and it's just up and to the right now. And it's starting to enter overbought territory. So it's looking great. And then you have gold. Gold is just up and to the right. It's looking great. It's in very overbought territory, but it is continuing to build upon momentum from a TI standpoint as well. And then we have Bitcoin that has been consolidating and to the down, setting in lower lows and now lower highs since, I mean, really July, with one big swing to the upside, right? And so Bitcoin and crypto are lagging behind the stock market and commodities across the board at a time where the macro picture is very bullish. Extra rate cuts being given. Looks like we're getting closer to a trade deal with China as well, which is, hey, good for grand. But overall, we are entering this phase of quantitative easing, and markets don't really seem to care. At the same time, too, things that are specific for crypto is we're right around the corner from getting a slew of new ETF products as well, including staking being turned on for Ethereum most likely at some point between now and the end of October or beginning of November. So we're really close to these crypto specific events as well. The macro environment is bullish for assets. The Russell 2000, which is the risk on environment for the stock market, basically it's like an altcoin market as compared to Bitcoin, but for stocks, so smaller stocks as compared to the S&P 500. The Russell 2000's making an all-time high, if I believe. Let's just double check that real fast. Yeah, the Russell 2000 hit an all-time high just a couple days ago. So it's crazy.
Well,
and yet
that grind up is just nuts.
I know, it's just up and to the right. It's kind of bananas. And so the Russell 2000 being at or near an all-time high, granted this is a perfect place for the Russell 2000 to have a little bit of a correction, is screaming risk on market. It is screaming risk on market if it can hold this and continue to the upside. because you'll be turning this previous high over here into support. So this could be a general double top, you know, it could take a breather here, but overall, look at this, a very different chart from Bitcoin, screaming risk on environment because Fed's cutting, baby. Money printer's on. M2 money supply keeps going up and to the right as well. And that's the other thing too. You pull up the M2 money supply. Wait, M2 money stock is the right one. Yeah. M2 money supply is also up and to the right. The money printer is on. We had a long signal print on this as well, which I don't know how relevant that is, but you know, the amount of money is going up and to the right, screaming risk on environment, screaming Bitcoin should be doing well, crypto should be doing well, and it is not. These two things cannot continue for much longer. These things cannot be aligned. They cannot be this disparate from one another. One of the things is going to break. It's either going to be Bitcoin's bearish momentum will break and finally catch up with M2 and the Russell 2000 and the stock market and gold and silver and copper and uranium even, or all of those markets are going to turn bearish and have a correction as well, probably a healthy one at this standpoint. And then maybe Bitcoin and crypto are just a leading indicator of that. Either way, this has to end at some point. These markets have to align. They are not making sense right now at the moment. Doug, before we get into specifics on any charting, do you have anything else to share on that?
No, you covered all the key points there. It's just interesting. Like I'm so now focused on following stock market and crypto at the same time, and just noticing their similarities and differences. And it's usually they're not that divergent from each other, but it's almost like they are completely different markets. I don't want to say decoupling, but they're just. Well, the reality is stocks have just been fantastic. That's it. It's just nonstop. That's really what it comes down to. And crypto's had its ups and downs, its lulls, and its periods of just nonsense, and whatever greed just comes up every any given day. It just has some more bumps in the road.
Yeah,
stocks do.
I had some people. I was having a conversation with some folks because some people were saying like, "Hey, it couldn't possibly fall much lower from here because that macro picture is so much better. If it breaks key market structure from these levels, something really has to be wrong, right?" And I'm like, well, no, not necessarily. Yeah. Because you've had Bitcoin sliding and consolidating and sliding and consolidating with little pumps along the way since July. Well, the stock market's done great. The Russell 2000's done great. Everything we just talked about has been doing great. But what happens if Bitcoin's been sliding all this time and then it decides to couple again with the stock market as the stock market finally starts to take a breather, right? Nothing has to break. The macro environment can still be super great and super strong for long-term bullish momentum. But, we've seen multiple times since I've been paying attention to Bitcoin in 2017, where crypto couple and decouples with the stock market, and it doesn't really make sense as to when it decides to do that. And that could be one of the things. You can see Bitcoin really correct if it decides to couple with the stock market at the same time. Hopefully it just remains decoupled. And when the stock market finally takes a little bit of a breather, Bitcoin can finally start to catch up a little bit. But I don't know how good those odds are.
So that's the one. Was I talking to you about that this morning, or was it someone else?
No, this is the first time we were talking. I was actually having this conversation with someone separately.
Because I was trying to think about the scenarios. Like it was that. What was my hypothesis? It's almost like they are like crypto can't. I believe crypto can't really go up without stocks going up. Now, to a broader extent or a greater extent. Now, to your point a minute ago, sure, stocks could chill and crypto can move. I just can't remember the last time that's happened. And it's always just they're there together. So I kind of look at crypto as sometimes a leading indicator possibly of equities, but now I'm kind of putting that to bed because that hasn't played out the last couple of times. And so long story short, I just believe crypto can't really do crypto bullish type things if the stock market's in a lull.
Yeah, it was either the last time I remember it wasn't too long ago. It was either May of this year or it was March of this year. There was a clear sliding in the stock market that was far worse than in Bitcoin. So that was the last example. We did have an example earlier this year where there was like a slew of a couple weeks where Bitcoin really did better than the stock market while the stock market was sliding.
Now I want to go back and look at those times too, and just observe what happened after, how long, and like what that move was. just because to look forward for when that scenario comes. Like those are the types of things for me, like as a trader and looking for patterns, is those scenarios where they're kind of niche or unique in them. It only happens a couple times a year, but when it does happen, the behavior's generally the same. And that's the easy way to kind of look for setups when that time comes, if that time comes.
Yep. Now, I want to show one other thing on Bitcoin's chart as well. So I'll pull up my screen here again.
Does the elevator music play the whole show? Yeah, this music makes me even sadder. Don't be sad.
Don't be sad, man. Just let the elevator music flow over you. Let it flow through you. Become one with it. Woosah.
Which floor are we on? 13th Cosmic Crypto. It's good.
What floor are we on? The 13th floor? I mean, yeah, that seems about right. Market's being this red. Anyway, I'm sharing my screen right now, and this is what I had on my chart for a while, was this general kind of channel here represented by these magenta lines, except it's been a pretty disrespected channel, right? A little bearish break here, big bullish break here, a little bearish break here, big bullish break here. It was just kind of like, excuse me. We just kind of disrespected this channel the entire time. And I actually learned about a new technical analysis pattern that we might be having on the chart here, which is a diamond pattern. Oh, not that. Which is a diamond pattern, this diamond here. And a diamond pattern can be both bullish and bearish, depending on where it is. If it is at the top of price movement, as it is here, clearly at the top, it is a bearish indicator. So what this indicator would say is that if we were to break this line right here bearishly, you would have a fall at the thickest point when this creation first really started to come into being, which is here. And it's about a $14,000 drop for Bitcoin, which would be a fall to about $96,000, right to a key line of support here. Now,
and the CB gap too. Oh, that's a little lower. I think it's 92, right?
Is at 92,000.
92, yeah. Okay.
Also, if we pull up the Bitcoin liquidity heat map, and before I do that, if we want to avoid that, if Bitcoin can get back above these key exponential moving averages at about $115,000, reclaim the 12-day exponential moving average as support, and use that as a trampoline to get above this line here at $116,000, you could nullify the bearish break here. You actually have a bullish break to the upside of $14,000. But this type of pattern at the top tends to have a negative or bearish future in it, particularly because it's highlighted by lower lows and lower highs as well. So if we take a look at the Bitcoin liquidity heat map too, we can see that the market is financially incentivized to go lower also. And it's to about $107,000. I'll share my screen right here. I didn't have it up before, so it's just loading. But you can see the biggest payday in the market is all the way down here at $106,900, basically $107,000, let's just call it. And there's so much liquidity between here and there that it's roughly $7 billion in liquidations just on Binance's exchange alone. So those liquidations go to Binance, trading fees are generated, market makers make money as well, and it's a really big payday. So on the bright side, is the technical analysis pattern I just showed. Yes, it has a breakdown to $96,000, which is a key level of support as well. But from the Bitcoin liquidation standpoint, it pretty much is telling us, hey, $106,700 allows the exchanges and the market makers to make the most amount of money possible. But then after that, there's not a lot of liquidity left. Let's see. Let's try and zoom out a little bit more.
Do you ever try to imagine like what it's like as a market maker? Like I always think, I'm like, because the tech has evolved for us as retail traders. I'm like, what's their tech? Is their tech to the point now where it's just like they're turning a dial and they're just like with the evil Fitch, like I'm turning it down, like it's just real time. We have enough movement to push certain markets, or is it's 100% automated? They're not even there or present. Yeah.
If I was a market maker, I would not make it automated, even though it'd be better for my business. I would have somebody in a gloomy, shadowy robe,
right? Yeah,
with like one of those Frankenstein style kadoosh levers, like back and forth, and then it shoots out sparks as you could.
Yeah,
and then like I go release the Barrett switch, and they just be like, yes, and then like, and then the market would bounce whatever direction it wants. That's what I like. That's the truth.
that's good. Like that's the tech I want. I want the physical. I want the the levers. I want the buttons. I want the dials. I want it. Let's go back. Appreciate physical tech again.
Yeah. Enough. The liquidations have been liquidated. Retail, they'll never return again. But yes, messed up. And he's got to put his whole weight into it. He's got a big humpback. And then everything calms down. And that's just what I imagine happens at BlackRock. You know,
I also thought the same about Zuckerberg too. Zuckerberg, same thing. Sorry.
Yeah. I feel like it's CZ, and then the guy who's playing Igor is just Sam Bankman-Fried, who's like still there. It's just Sam Bankman-Fried. I think he'd be good in this role. But anyway, if we zoom out on the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, thanks for tuning in, everybody. You know, once we go down to about $103,000, there's zero liquidity and financial incentive for the market to go from $103,000 all the way through $99,000. There's zero liquidity here, and there is some liquidity all the way down at 92,000 where that gap is. But you can see that there's actually more money sitting up closer at 120,000. So if we're purely looking at financial incentives in the market, down to about potentially $103,000, $104,000 is where the big payday is. And then it pretty much dries up like a well. And then the biggest payday is back up at like $119,000, $120,000. So if we're purely going off of that, then, you know, this is my first time really understanding and looking and learning about this diamond top formation. So I myself am trying to see really how valid it is. But it is something I wanted to share with everybody, because as I learn, I try to help everybody and all of you learn as well. So that's that, right?
There's I would love to dive into the diamond pattern is one of my favorites, actually, of all, let's call them retail patterns, of ones that for the most part end up doing what they are supposed to do by the dumb diagrams that are all over the Google.
Did that look like a diamond pattern to you?
Not as much, you could see it that way, but there are some that are just super clear where it's just like almost, and there are also ones too that are on a diagonal where it's almost same thing, where regardless where it is, it's almost like that the leg coming in reciprocates itself on the way coming out. And again, to your point, it can be bearish or bullish. It works both directions. But I don't know if there's a number to it, but I got to say gut like 90% or more without a doubt.
Well, Doug, that was my very technical analysis, traditional view of the chart, but like you vibe chart, right? You just kind of have like you have an artist's eye for it. So when you take a look at Bitcoin right now, what do you see? What catches you?
Right. I guess I'll pull up the Bitcoin then.
Pull up the Bitcoin. And I love to get your thoughts about your Fartcoin Solana indicator, which has been fire. Your Fartcoin Solana indicator has been fire.
So we'll talk about the minute, but I'm not someone who like wants to like go like say, hey, it worked, because there's a guy in my replies, the reply guy on the Twitter that says that doesn't make any sense. This is like from months ago, and I want to go back and find him and like, bro, see this? I'm better than that. I'm better than that. Well, it's not me. That's not my character.
You're a good man.
Yeah. So, oh my gosh, look at this. I save charts with tweets sometimes and things to remind myself of what times were. So like here, this is a top signal. See all these?
Like the 12-year-old who rugged.
Yep, this is oh, here you go. Insert any pump video contributing to the decay of human society. That's that. It's funny because this is November 2024, and like last week we were there again. So I don't know. Anyway, sorry, I digress. Let's go back to here. Fun fact, everyone, too, you can take tweets if you're using TradingView, and you take the link and you paste it in any chart. It plots it exactly when that tweet was on the time. It was.
I did not know that.
You didn't know that? This is one of the greatest features of TradingView. And actually, for a while, when Elon took over X, it didn't work for 6 months, and I was livid. I'm like, there are so many things. This was great, and now it's back. So it's easy. Copy pasta. Like no fanciness. Whatever. It's great.
Good.
So first and foremost, and oh my gosh, I need a different chart. I can't. These they're my. Oh no, not this here too. Hold on. Sorry, everybody. Let's do a new Bitcoin chart. The index. All right, we'll do this. So coming into the last 2 weeks of September, if you go back prior videos, kind of had the thought of I don't want to really do anything, knowing that it's going to be pretty volatile, and the second half of September generally is horrible. So for me right now, it's like I'm actually, and I know many won't be happy with me saying this, like I want to go down much further. Like I want to, because it makes more sense overall and kind of how seeing the bigger picture play out. So in general, as of right now, and we'll look at this chart, I don't have any interest in entertaining any single long, regardless, unless it's there's a rare case I can talk about in a minute, especially with something like Bitcoin, because anytime you see a drop like of this, what was the drop today? What was it? I don't even know what it was. I can't see where I am on the time frame here. So like 3%, 4%. I don't know what it is in the daily, the exact number.
3.17%.
Was it?
3.17.
3.17. Okay. So I would gather, without looking, any other time there was a 3.1% drop.
I lied. It was 2.42.
2.42. All right. For me, visually, this size of this candle relative to the rest of these candles, anytime we've had that, looking back, I would guarantee you have significant time before there's a clear direction change. So like even here, like this pullback, this is much bigger. So for me, this isn't going to, for anyone like, oh, I'm trying to figure out if I want to catch the falling knife, it's not going to do this. There are very, very, very rare cases where that happens in some type of announcement. I'm trying to think of any scenarios or
you can just be the Russell 2000.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
God, it's so frustrating.
Yeah. But yeah, so like for me, like I think we go lower, man. I'm not like, I'm looking at it like and not even, so I see the diamond you're kind of talking about here. I do see a little bit like here. Why is this yellow? Why are we yellow?
What have you done?
Yeah, you can see this. It's just that this move is stronger than I would expect on this for that to be that
to form a diamond.
Yeah. But I don't know. There's a clear level of support here, right? It's right here. I just look at, this is where he came up. Here was the move. We went up, boom, rocket, came back. We bounced here, support. Now it's okay. We're bouncing. Now this is the area of caution. So ideally, this could just do this and then keep going up. Right. We know that over the next 24 to 48 hours. Yes.
We could get news tomorrow. So we have.
Oh, yeah, that's right. There's something tomorrow morning, too. Yeah.
We have a speech by President Trump in the morning. And then apparently we have some kind of major political shift with Bitcoin. We'll see how major it comes. That announcement of an announcement.
I hate the announcements of the announcements. They're the worst. They're so disappointing. They're underwhelming all the time.
I know. Dennis Porter does it all the time. But Dennis Porter is great. He is the world's largest Bitcoin lobbyist, so he does know what he's talking about, and he always delivers good news for Bitcoin. It just, in my experience, tends to not move the market immediately. It's more of like long-term effects and really positive developments for the space. But then I saw a bunch of other people also being like, made a couple phone calls. Yeah, something big is happening. So I'm just like, all right, let's see how big this big thing is. It's going to be the biggest. We'll see how big this is. And then people are like, and Trump has a speech tomorrow. Maybe he's going to talk about Bitcoin. I'm like, I don't think so. I think he's going to talk about other things, or like, he just got out of the Charlie Kirk funeral, so maybe make comments about that or something as a speech. I don't know. We'll see. It's all a fugazi. I'm a data guy, not a speculation on a news guy. So we'll see how it comes and how it affects the chart.
Well, let's do this. What even could you say? What else? Like, what is like? What's the most bullish thing you could say? And does anyone even care about it?
It would be. The United States federal government is going to start buying Bitcoin. However, that's only going to start happening if they vote on Senator Cynthia Lummis's bill, which isn't something that happens overnight. So unless there's some way for Trump with an executive order to be like, we're going to start buying Bitcoin. I don't know if he has that power or not. Would need to have Alex on to talk about that. But I don't know. It would have to be something like that. Or it's going to be a release that, hey, Nancy Pelosi started buying Bitcoin yesterday. And then I'll be like, holy shit.
That actually could be the most bullish thing that they could say.
Bullish thing would be Nancy Pelosi has bought Bitcoin and then send it.
Because kidding aside, we've probably had, I don't know what, was a gut number, 15 pretty significant announcements, like since like April or since February as it relates to crypto from the administration overall. And it seems like this over summer, you had the what was the big summit back in after the Liberation Day, the crypto summit when the czar was up there. It just was the most underwhelming thing ever. I think it's actually when markets nuked. But it was from then, it was almost like, well, what am I taking from this news? What should I even do with this? Does anyone care? Is anyone paying attention? And so I'm kind of numb to a lot of it, but coming back, the Nancy Pelosi thing actually would be extremely bullish.
Well, JM on TikTok had a great idea too. He was like, well, they could declare no capital gains tax.
All right. There's a good one.
That's another good one. I don't think it would be a good thing. I mean, it'd be great for prices in the short term. Don't get me wrong. I just don't think that would be a real good thing at all. But it would. Ooh, here's a reason why it would happen, because the Trump family is super deep into crypto, and if they do, hey, no capital gains tax, they profit off it as much as they can for the next few years in terms of their presidency, and they just make a shit ton of money they don't have to pay taxes on. And then if the Democrats get elected and they change that law, they still don't have to pay taxes on that money. It would be the single best thing they could do to further enrich themselves, which now actually gives me some faith that that could actually happen. Because before I was like, no, they're never going to say no capital gains tax because it's less revenue for the government, and the government only ever wants more revenue. So, like, no, of course they're not going to do it. So actually, maybe they will.
What's wild, that thought process, these are active conversations happening every single day on Twitter. It's almost like there's just strategies about, the more crime from everybody, like all ends, which is why this whole cycle to me too is just so interesting, because comparing, and when I say CT, like crypto Twitter, now it's CX. Is it CX? Now it's crypto Twitter.
I find myself saying X now because so many more people have started saying X, and I'm like, it's not as good. Twitter.
I don't want to be. We could have that. By the way, I would love to have discussion one day on just from an overall strategy standpoint. Killing a brand that had 25 years of worldwide, presence. Anyway, besides that, now I forgot what we were talking about. The discourse, basically the conversations, and every single cycle, it's so different. Like each bear market's different, each bull market's different, and it's just in seeing some similarities to last year, like with the Pump Live meta. But now it's just straight up like the things I read, I'm just like, wow, okay, you're just gonna just say that out loud because no one cares, and I'm just gonna go do it. So yeah.
So we'll see what the news is tomorrow. That'll be fun.
So we'll see.
So you want to see Bitcoin go down lower? I think Bitcoin going down lower makes the most amount of sense as well, unless Bitcoin were to reclaim at the very least $114,000 over the next 24 hours. But
some other random things here too. Sorry, I'm gonna. We had some other stuff. This is I got. You can do math in TradingView. Wow, this squiggle is actually really good. Holy goodness! This is Bitcoin divided by the S&P 500 plus the Nasdaq. That's what this is, to get a perspective of a broader stock market against crypto. Now, maybe I probably should be using total or something like that. Or total 2 maybe is better comparison.
What is this actually really showing you?
Excuse me?
So what is this showing you?
This is showing if you were basically to compare, looking at, it's like almost like it's like a pair. Like how a pair basically just doing the math based on the value of this versus the value of that. And this
is if you just want to do like Bitcoin as compared to the stock market, why is it Bitcoin divided by the stock market plus the Nasdaq?
Oh, it's got to give it a ratio. It's got to give it a ratio. So I'm basically creating plotting data points that are creating a chart essentially. So instead of side by side, it's like it's like the same way you look at, Sol against Bitcoin or Sol against ETH.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I mean? So it's just a different view. It's not really a thing, but it sometimes gives perspective. Hold on, there was one I wanted to show you that was different. It was I do a lot of ones over here. Very BTC oil, gold oil. That's an interesting one always too. Yeah, I'm not gonna find it. There's one that I wanted to show you that made things clear. All right. We're off track. What were you looking? It was specific. It was a diamond pattern. So it was a diamond pattern in one of those funky charts that are the funky metrics that I made. That it shows 2 birds with 1 stone. Just it couldn't find it, so that failed on all fronts. Okay. This is the chart that Bitcoin I was trying to find earlier. I want this move down here. This was it. Like this was the only thing I wish we saw was a higher sweep up here, like into the 120s. Like see this red arrow I drew here and then didn't move early and I kind of shifted it over. I really wanted this 118, 120 to get hit and it didn't.
Yeah, I wanted that 120 also because we had that breakout of one wedge in that channel. Yeah, 120 and I was like, okay, if we go up and we sweep that target though, I was worried that if we hit that 120 target, there was so much liquidity sitting down. I was like, this is going to roll over so fast if it does. And it didn't happen. That liquidity is still sitting at 120. So it might just ping pong back and forth. But anyway, I spoke over you.
No. That's good. It's spot on. And so also too, for those of you who are new to TradingView, I highly recommend plotting like points, like the FOMC. I'd put this here, I don't know, like last week or the week before, just so you can kind of get some perspective of where that is relative to where you are on the chart, especially when you're at higher time frames, like 12 hours and above. It's super helpful. And also to your monthly levels for charts, your monthly levels and your yearly levels, like super high level, just to have there. I noticed the bigger traders over time always have that like in check, like that spot check that's there. I just don't like it because it's too noisy, and I don't like a lot of things on the chart. But that's me just shooting myself in the foot as I try to navigate this the TA world. So Bitcoin, I think I'm looking for lower, but so I'm not actively saying I'm shorting. I'm kind of chilling. I'm really trying to sit on my hands and wait until October to get clarity on what happens next, because I can't just see markets just continuously now all of a sudden reverse, and it's just up only for more weeks. I just can't see that. If it happens, I'll change my bias Tuesday, Wednesday next week when when it's clear that is the case. It's just not going to be like, oh, tomorrow we're super bullish like we were on Friday.
Fingers crossed for Bitcoin to just become stocks, which is a sad thing to say. Yeah. Come on. I'd like to go over to some of the altcoins here because of our technical delay, we don't have as much time tonight as we did initially have planned for. So I would like to actually spend a little bit of time talking about your Fartcoin indicator for Solana, and then start diving into requests from the audience for coins. Of some, we already have some. So this will be a perfect segue into Rada's first request, which was, can we get a look at Solana and also Hyperliquid?
Perfect.
So we'll do that. So let's take a look at, let's talk about the Fartcoin indicator. And for those of you who don't know, Doug has been talking about for a long time about how Fartcoin is an indicator for how Solana will behave. And it has been performing damn near perfectly over the past few days.
Let's go back to here, and let's go back to, I can't do a
two-way on TikTok.
You can't do it to not to replay. So the replay to cut off the chart. So, and also to TikTok. Sorry, you can't see this whole thing. I'll try to make sure.
I'm gonna share on here so everyone can see the side by side.
Okay, there you go. That works. Let me just turn this back here then. Okay. So on the left over here, also on the right I'll do the left. On the left over here is Solana, and on the right is Fartcoin. Now the chart's a little more. This is a little funky because I shifted things around, but I can't hide Fartcoin right now. But yesterday, if you can imagine, everything that was, what, screw it. We're gonna make it happen. Because I can't. I'm cheating because visual order move forward. There we go. I'm making the replay mode happen. Okay. Here, something like that. So it was a point where Fartcoin was way down here, and Solana's up here. So I put these yellow boxes to kind of compare, and this is in real time. So it's almost like Fartcoin was like hours ahead. Usually, what I've observed in the past is that Fartcoin is usually like 15 minutes ahead. This one was hours. And so I'm looking at this, I'm like, overall, like the larger structure up top is like the exact same. Like it's roughly the same, right? This kind of double top kind of thing that's here. This sideways, let's call this the sideways. Both are moving sideways like that. Oops, I can't copy them over here. Can't do it. There you go, just like this. Yeah. And then so at the same time, this one gave out. So why would I not? And while I'm watching Sol, this is on a 3-hour chart. I'm watching seeing these kind of weak candles. This is a very bearish candle, and I'm like, well, hell, I mean, I just feel like I have to short this. Just basically looking at how these compare to each other. Just going with my system until the system doesn't work. I'm gonna keep using it. So last night before I sleep, it's small size, unfortunately, but wherever the hell that thing went, now it's gone. I can't even find it. There it is. Yeah. Then I let this play out. Let's do this. Boom, and there you go. So it's almost, as of right now, it's like now it's caught up. So now I'm looking at Fartcoin and Solana. They're basically the same. Not really the same. Fartcoin got crushed so bad. And now I could be looking for Fartcoin to give me guidance for a reversal to the other way. It's almost like, and I don't know what it is. I don't know why. It's almost just like Fartcoin's the best embodiment of this whatever bull market this has been the last 6 months has been Fartcoin. That's all I can say. So that's kind of the thesis. And since then, it's kind of worked out.
The Fartcoin market. Well, how about we take a look just at Solana then? I know we're looking at Fartcoin as potential indicator for what Solana can do, but what are you
All
looking
right.
at Solana's chart? Just to go
one more thing I have to show this because I just pulled it up by accident. So this is stable. This is stable.c.d. So this is the entire USDT, USDC, and I want to say DAI. One of the it's like top 3 stable coins altogether as a percentage of the total crypto market. So kind of like your USDT dominance, your stablecoin dominance. This is a bigger view of it. And by looking at this, we're at like actually a pretty significant point, because this level, a rejection here is bullish. A flipping this and continuing up is very, very, very bearish.
Yep.
So right now I'm, I want to say I'm anticipating this as a rejection, but I think it says this maybe something like that. Because then this is I'm trying to figure out, this is the end of the year. I think we're gonna have one nice couple weeks that are there, and then at the end,
we have a double top right now.
What's up?
Well, we have a double top right now, so that's
yeah.
Sign of hope.
Looks like it's kind of like I don't like the cup and handle too, by the way, but kind of like this here, like that. What are you gonna do? All right, sorry, Solana.
Yeah, kind of.
Solana.
I'll also pull up Solana on my chart as well.
This is bearish. I mean, it needs to stay up. It can't lose like 210. You can't lose this whole, there's a nice order block up here. This whole area here. Really can't lose that. If we lose that, we're in trouble. So I don't know, man. I think we see a higher low down here. Not that low, but like something like this. That's just how I see it. I don't know.
60. So there is some liquidity on the Solana liquidity heat map over at Binance. That's down to about $1.90, 190 is where that would say we're heading. If I show my chart,
RSI now. No, we got time. There's no rush. Let's put it that way. That's my. There's no rush to do anything right now.
Yeah, looking at Solana here, I'm going to pull up the weekly time frame. Is we still have overall momentum on the weekly time frame as bullish for Solana, which I find to be interesting. The next major area of support is at $202, which would enable us to most likely grab the liquidity that sits at 190. That if we do go down to 190, that would be a fall to the 21-week exponential moving average, which would also be the high of some previous consolidation zones. That would seem like a very likely place to be able to catch us. And if I pull up our Fibonacci retracement tool as well, no, that doesn't exactly line up nicely with that area for support. But let's see. This is actually a different chart than the one I had. So I don't have another indicator I had on this chart at the moment. But yeah, we see a bearish break back into the channel that we were in before. Not something you want to see. Seems like there's weakness on Solana's chart. There is a chance to be caught at about $207 as well, some previous highs, big consolidation zone, the 55-week exponential moving average. If we were to hit that tonight and then tomorrow, really bullish news came out about crypto, you could totally see a rebound there. But just understand that there is a liquidity grab potentially down to about $190 as well, which would also be a big consolidation area potentially on these tops of this consolidation zone at $185. That's as far as I would expect things to go down in Solana if we do get a continuation of the sell-off. But otherwise, like if Solana is above or below about $230 is the mark to me. It needs to be above or below 225, 230 or so. That's what I'm looking for.
I hear you. It's good to have a different view because I don't really look at other charts as much as I should or other perspectives, and it helps for just some framing. I do want to talk about one chart real quick before we jump into the other ones that are here. And this kind of does ASTER is just I've been so infatuated with this chart and the whole thing the last 24 hours because, or actually longer, 48 now. This is the new perps dex, the hyperliquid of Binance, let's call it.
Yep.
The CZ special. Let's call it a CZ special. It's not fantastic. There are bugs. Actually, as of right now, I can't even see the chart. Can't see the chart in the terminal. It's just not working, but it doesn't matter. I'm just going to keep going up. So, but this chart has been really, really, really nice to watch because there's so much volume. and there's clear, market making happening. So it's just a good thing to observe overall. But I am really interested when this thing gets back above $1.70. I think this thing is gonna do some crazy things, regardless of what the markets are doing. Because right now Bitcoin looks like it's sad, and so some of their alts, and this thing still looks great. And I want to show you this. Well, this is another kind of, let's call it diamond. Is almost like when it's going up this way. So this is the kind of entry I want to see on a diamond normally, when it would be like, I'll check a diamond here. With this thing here. Oh, I can't do I'm gonna parallelogram. I don't got the. I don't got it. I don't got the diamond I want. I can't rotate it. All right, screw it. Anyway, this, like this, and seeing this come up like this, and then like this. These ones where it's almost like a big hang, almost like it looks like a Tesla Cybertruck kind of vertically there. This usually does this too. Just in general, it's almost like it's an inverted one to the side. However, because this is CZ's token, it's one of those cases where like I would not be expecting that to happen, because generally by looking at this, I think everyone is waiting for that to happen, or this kind of pullback that's here. But I think this thing's just going to keep going up, and I am just curious how this plays out, because this narrative, if it keeps getting bigger, is going to have some impact on the overall markets, and meaning not like in a good or bad way. I mean, it can go both ways, but how much liquidity this absorbs, if it does, will be telling of how the market reacts when things happen. We get announcements, we get, the stock market pulls back, stock market moves up. It's like that's an indicator of kind of where things may go, because it's just a bigger embodiment of what the meta is for a short period of time. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense.
All right, what's next?
When we go to the next one, I want to quickly, because I had a quick over here in TikTok that said, well, what about the liquidity zones for Solana? And I spoke about it, but let me share it so you guys can visual here. Is you can see that the last big payday for liquidation is at $210. This big yellow blob right here, this last yellow line.
Sorry.
But the thing is there are no liquidations higher up. Higher up, it's a totally dark portion of the map, if you will. There's no money to be made, at least for Binance. So there's zero financial incentive to keep it higher. There's only financial incentive to drive Solana lower. And the only time where we start to get to an abyss where liquidations start to dry up is when Solana gets down to about $190. And then we have this abyss here that the market may no longer be financially incentivized to drive it lower, because then we'll finally have longer positions that can get liquidated higher up. But as of right now, there is zero financial incentive in the market to drive Solana higher, at least on Binance's market. Okay, this is just on Binance. Okay, so that's your answer there. I saw a request came in on TikTok. I want to take one there for Polkadot.
For Dot?
Yeah, for Dot. Has a liquidation zone. Let's see, what was their liquidation zone?
By the way, holy shit, this is hype. Wow, this is crushed today. I was paying attention to this.
It's not on the big stream.
20% since Thursday. Well, that back to my point earlier. This is, I can't say directly affected by ASTER, but it's like I don't know. There's also was there an announcement too that there are going to be perps in the U.S. or no? Is that U.S. citizens could use international dexes? Am I making that up?
I don't know. I didn't see that.
Okay.
But I'm talking about allowing centralized exchanges like Coinbase and Kraken to do perpetual trading again, and margin and all that kind of stuff. All that fun futures contracts kinds of things. Right. So let's see. I'm going to pull up Dot on my chart. Well.
Sorry.
Well, I want to take a look while you do your fast analysis. I'm gonna. Oh wait, and I was looking to see what his Dot liquidation is 297. So let's see if we can deliver some good news or bad news.
Well, just Dot's boring. That's I actually, by the way, I love Polkadot. I've always loved Polkadot. It's one of like the top 10 that got me into crypto overall. But as of right now, this is a weekly chart. Dot just needs to get back above here. Dot needs to be up here and chilling, ready to start pushing towards $5 and $6. This rejection was nasty last week, and as of right now, this thing may just range between four. This is probably going to do this. Probably do this, something like this, and just go sideways until it decides to want to break up. So it has to break this downtrend and flip 450 before you can be bullish. For me, I just it's fine. It's just boring.
Yeah, and what I'm looking at is, again, yeah, dot's boring. I think your liquidation zone's probably going to be mostly okay, but it depends. So like I see this is dot on the daily time frame. It's in this wedge pattern here. Tried to have a bullish breakout, it failed. This is a nasty wick, but at the same time, this is also a nice wick. So it looks like we have consolidation on the books for Polkadot. But what's a bad sign is that the daily candle closed below the top white line of this wedge pattern here. And we're starting to get a rejection from this as well. This would make me think that this is most likely breaking down to the bear side. And then if I just give a quick eyeball test, $3.27 is the potential very likely area of support. But if this were to play out, and I tend to see the bearish break of technical analysis patterns, not always, at least less than the bullish. It's like, bullish ones don't always break to the bull side either. But the TA target here is $1.93. However, that I think would be the lowest that Polkadot has been. It would be the lowest Polkadot has ever been. So I don't think that's going to happen. I think you have a crap ton of support for Polkadot here at $3.60 through $2.90. So I don't know. Like there's a chance here that you see Polkadot really slip a bit more, but I don't think it's going to have that full bearish breakout there. I think your liquidation zone's probably okay, but we'll see. It's potentially in target.
It's almost like it's like what, like a Polkadot to me. Again, I don't know if they have any updates or wasting money on marketing dollars for anything. But again, no shade to Polkadot. I like Polkadot. That for Polkadot to make bigger moves, the entire market needs to be moving. Like in my mind, there's no reason Polkadot is going to go anywhere. It's one of those you could probably throw in a bucket with probably, I don't know, 25 to 50. I don't want to call them they're not even Dino coins now because it's like they're like grand dinos. Because like all dinos was like 2 cycles ago. Now I didn't think about that. But older coins have been around for 5+ years. I think those are ones that I'll flip back here that were that I need more than just themselves to move. They need everything to be pumping for no reason.
And the thing is I feel like Polkadot is so boring that it really can't fall that far, just because like nobody's paying attention to it and very few people are trading it.
Yep, and that's what it is. So anyway,
you don't fall so far.
What we got next?
Let's see. Let me take a look over here at YouTube and Twitter, and then we'll take a look back over on TikTok. Magic says Syrup and also Moonwell. I'll look up Moonwell because I haven't looked up Moonwell's chart in months. So I'm very curious to see.
Syrup is almost at my area of interest here. I'm waiting for this to break down. I think Syrup's going to, again, as a market maker, like attack these levels over here. I know you can't see that much on TikTok here, but I'm sorry, I'll move out here. On the left, there's this red area I've highlighted. And the reason I'm highlighting this level is because when this went up, like this was always like looking at the level, like where it leveled up before it's like above where it was trading. So this whole upper region up here is like what was the move that happened before it got up there, and that is here. Like that is this area here. So if you were someone who longed here, you are feeling good because you basically got in here and you're up at these upper levels, and you may have held all the way through. So that was back in June. So now, again, as a market maker, if I'm the other side of the equation, I'm hunting your longs. Like I want to move this price down to take out this section because I know this section has been diamond hands the entire time. And now it's like, oh, we're in a full round trip. I want to take your bag. So I want to basically push that out, which is why this area of interest to me is where I'm looking at potentially for a long. I would actually put maybe some limit orders down here, but this looks like it's going to roll over. If anything, this and then down. But I'm sure once this chart though does break out, a little arc here, kind of see this ramp here like this. Once this is over here somewhere, it's over here or down here, then it's gone. Like that's, so just kind of waiting to see once it gets out of this cone type thing. What do you want to call it? Cone. It's like a band. I don't know. Arc. It's an arc. Dome. I like dome. Let's do that. Like that. Let's do that. All right. What's next? Are you gonna flip? You got it?
I'm gonna pull up Moonwell. And I think Moonwell is also in a position of weakness, but I feel like it can only fall so much more. So here is Moonwell real quick. And let me just clean this up so it's a little bit neater. So this is Moonwell in the weekly time frame. So we can see the entirety of the price action here. And you can see that it was in this ascending-ish, almost symmetrical wedge pattern here that it bearishly broke out of about 5 weeks ago. And you can see that continued bearish momentum is continuing here, which is what we should expect. If you're having a bearish break in this consolidation kind of ascending wedge, kind of not. Ascending wedges tend to break to the downside, but I don't know. I don't know if I'd call it that. Anyway, we had a bearish break of this wedge. Price action has been held below the 12, the 21, and the 55-week exponential moving averages since August. Nothing really looks strong here for Moonwell. And if I look to try to find a bottom here, and I look back to see, I see points of inflection here. I see a point of inflection here, inflection point all the way back in July of 2023, inflection point all the way back in April of 2023, inflection point, the same one back in March, the same one all the way back into 2022 as well. And from a price point standpoint, this is 1.3379 cents. So 1.3, 1.4 cents is a damn near strong bottom for Moonwell, but there is a chance to get caught up a little bit higher, which would be at current price action right now. If it doesn't bounce right now, it's probably going to fall to that like 1.3, 1.35 cent range is what I'm looking at. And then if we pull up our
Fibonacci continue.
Fibonacci retracement tool, there's a ton of support at 1 cent too. So that 1.3 to 1 cent range, which is a 30% range. I know it doesn't look when you look at the chart, you're like, damn, that's 30%. Yeah, it's 30%. Is pretty wild. But your weekly charts stochastic RSI is in oversold territory, but we've seen Moonwell stay in oversold territory for a really long time on the weekly chart. The issue with Moonwell is that it was a really great product for a while until Morpho came over to Base, and they're both competing lending protocol solutions. And the thing is Moonwell has always been an easier to use, a little bit more slick interface system. But the thing is new retail investors aren't the ones who are really using DeFi solutions. It's more so people who have been using DeFi for a long time, and people who, a lot of people like yourselves in this audience, who have been upgrading your skills. But you are not the majority. You are the exception who have started to upgrade your skills. You've been exploring Katana, you've been exploring Morpho and Moonwell, and you've been going on and using Jupiter and Radium over on Solana and a whole bunch of other stuff, right? Odds are you have started exploring that. You're now someone who would probably benefit more so from using Morpho than using Moonwell. And the news that drives DeFi protocols to the top of mindshare is, can it be adopted by institutional players? Morpho is being adopted by institutional players, and it can do so due to its infrastructure, its architecture, as well as the security regulations that it's starting to kind of tick the boxes on. Moonwell does not have that going for it. So Moonwell is I'm doing air quotes on this because it's a good product, but it is an inferior product as compared to its closest competitor in its space, which is Morpho. Which is why in the past you saw Moonwell's chart do so well and be so explosive, but then its competitive environment has become so much more competitive because Morpho is kicking Moonwell's ass. So that's why you're not seeing as big of a pump in Moonwell as you used to in the past. And I'm sure that's also due to market factors as well. You're seeing that in a lot of altcoins. But that's just my opinion and thoughts on Moonwell. That's what I'm seeing from a TA standpoint. 1 cent to 1.3, 1.35 cents potentially there for Moonwell, particularly with it being an oversold territory on the weekly chart stochastic RSI. I would just rather be positioning myself in Morpho.
So quick note on that audition. So pattern. There's a pattern. This is not a great one of these, but there's Moonwell, same thing. It's a McDonald's. It's like a McDonald's. So I always look at it's the M. It's a McDonald's inside. It's almost like, but the M is like kind of like it's more truncated, like up top, or like they're closer than they would be normally. But it's inside of a W, right? So like that's this here. Which kind of aligns with what you just said. This is I'd want to see this kind of move out, similar to like the diamond itself, where it's the way it comes in is the way it goes out. Would like to see this. Anything that breaks down below here is a whole, then this whole thing is negated. Or that's just like, that's a whole different conversation down there. But I just kind of use it as guidance, and if it happens, it happens. If not, you know, it doesn't. But this is, I just noticed that it's not fantastic, but it's kind of there. I like the M's and the W's.
Well, on the daily time frame, I do have short signals still that had triggered all the way back on September 1st for Moonwell.
Yeah.
And the momentum is still bearish on our Moxie indicator. We're not oversold yet on the relative strength index, and we're not oversold yet on the daily chart stochastic RSI either. But we should be there in the next couple of days. So there's an opportunity for your W pattern to hold up.
We talk about ETH. I know we do a couple more. We got to go, but like ETH got crushed. ETH hurt more than the others. Like that. This was a pretty nasty kind of sell off here. I'm not gonna lie. And like I don't know. Even looking at it right now, it looks like things are weak. I think crypto's trying to recover right now because even stocks right now are going up again. Stocks looks positive. Crypto looks like it wants to die. It's good times. By the way, anyone, so if you zoom in here, this is an hourly chart. Any breakdown like this, like there is no rush to try to catch anything down here. If it does decide to come up, you'll have so much time. It'll be tomorrow. We got clarity like on like hours from now. It's not just going to do this. And even if it does do that, let's say you go to sleep right now and you're like, oh, don't worry about Bitcoin pumping. Even if it does this, so this is ETH, it will pull back and give you an entry, and you can decide here what to do. So don't worry about chasing this, but even I don't think it's going to happen. So this is a good time to chill. I think October is definitely in the cards right now, and as of right now, just let these things play out and don't feel your job is to survive. You need to survive right now, and that's really it. So anyway, sorry, I thought you had to pull it up.
We keep selling, or if the news we get tomorrow is really something earth-shattering and really changes the market, things turn around immediately. Hey, guess what? You get to buy back in when there's bullish momentum, and you get to buy back in with confidence. So,
100%.
Yeah.
Are we good? We want to do more?
Let's just do. Oh yeah, God, we're like out of time. Let me take. This is my ETH chart here. So I've been talking about Ethereum going down to about $3,900 for a while. It looks like we're finally getting that move. Right now, we had a daily candle close below the 55-day exponential moving average. The liquidity sitting for Ethereum, by the way, is sitting at $3,900, just below $4,000. So the market makers and Binance's exchange, they get to make their money. There's an opportunity here to get caught right here at $3,950. That is a very gigantic, macro pattern here that if we hold it, you still have a very bullish picture for Ethereum. If it can hold that, you still have an absolute blast off of Ethereum to $7,000. If it doesn't, though, the pattern starts to become potentially invalidated. But because this is such a large macro pattern, you need it to be invalidated on really the weekly or even the monthly charts time frame, because this is a pattern that goes back 4 years. 4 years, 3.5, 4 years. So you could have this dip below and then have the monthly chart close back above it, and this pattern would still be alive. So it's going to be a long time before we get clarity on that, if we do have multiple weeks of selling, which is potentially on the cards here. Let's do a recommendation from TikTok. What do you guys got? What do you want us to look at? We'll do 2 final coins, and that'll be it. Shiba is the first one that comes through.
Shiba
Inu.
USDT. Why is this only giving me? I want the.
And then the next
spelling it wrong. Oh, it's SHIB. What a tool.
Were you spelling SHIB like a?
What's Shiba? I put Shiba. It's SHIB. Damn, this looks so good at the beginning of the year. Like when this I was so excited back then. I'm like, yo, OG memes are moving.
Everyone has forgotten.
Oh, this sucks. I'm sorry. I'm gonna be the negative Nancy here, but I mean, let's put it this way: it can't really go down much more.
It can't go down. Yeah.
Well, it could, but like, that like worst case down to we're at 1.2 down to like 0.99, 0.98, maybe. Alternatively, it kind of looks like DOT. Like a lot of these are in this. This is what from this whole year. It's like they haven't really done horribly after the big sell off. They just haven't done nothing, and until they break out of this zone or this till they get up here, that I don't care. It's just boring.
Yeah, let me see if I see anything different. Let me pull it up on the weekly time frame. So I see bearish momentum actually starting to wane a little bit.
Yeah, flip your
yeah. Let me see. I mean, I'm not seeing a long signal printing on this on SHIB anytime soon, but you know, I'm just taking a look at the Moxie indicator down here, and ever since June of this year, it's finally started slowly eating away at bearish momentum. I also see it really not being able to go down much lower, like pretty much right here, whatever this is, 0.000107. You know, like right in that general range. That's about it. Otherwise, you know, I'm not really seeing a whole lot here for SHIB unless. Hang on a second. Let's just see. We are in a consolidation triangle that it hasn't broken yet. So let's just something a little bit like that. Something a little bit. It had a bearish break. Yeah, it's going lower. Yeah. Had a bearish break of this consolidation triangle. It had a bearish break with confidence. It's not oversold. It's about to get a short signal on the daily time frame. SHIB. Damn. I wish I could say SHIB is an absolute winner and it's about to blast off.
I know.
Let's take a look at Chainlink.
Where are my Link Marines at? Where are they at? Let's do here. Sweet.
Hey, it had a hell of a wick.
Yeah, I know.
It had a hell of a wick today. I think, you know, I don't think it's the end of it selling, but I mean, that's a strong sign that bulls are willing to come in hard for Chainlink.
See, I can make the argument, Will, here like this. This is, I could see the diamond here almost too. It's just like, oh. And by the way, we say diamond. I know it's probably some ABC 1, 2, 3. You know the other ones that, but like, even just that, looking, I would still expect this. Still this. That's what that's looking for Chainlink. It's like you want to stay above. It's $20. That's the level. $20 is the level. With that, I remember we talking about that too. Without zooming in here, I would love. Oh, we just dipped into it. We just dipped into $20.
Yeah, we did. What was the low today? The low was about
20, 25, 20, 50,
32. Oh yeah, this is forming. This is kind of forming a diamond.
My mind here. You're anything. I think anything between 20 and 17.50. You're a buyer. That's not financial advice, but like that's where I would be looking to.
Yeah,
some bids maybe, but yeah, but Chainlink might just chill here and wait for the storm to pass and then just move up.
Sorry, I'm getting antsy, but I didn't mean to talk over you. My apologies, everybody. Bad stream quality, but Chainlink is one of the cryptos that I think is very likely to end up getting an ETF product that people actually like. Institutional investors, they want to invest in the things that are the things that are selling the shovels and the picks. I think Chainlink is one of those coins that institutional investors actually go like, yeah, give me a little bit of exposure to that. I'll buy some through an ETF product.
I really want Chainlink to go up. One, because I want to get out from my position, but two, so my friends will shut up, because that was the one I was showing the most to my in real life friends back in the day was Chainlink, because I'm like, I'm a data guy. I'm like, it's an oracle. It's like, it's the connector of all the stuff. Someone told me it's going to go to 1,000. Nope. Don't listen to anyone when they tell you it's going to go to 1,000.
Stop listening to them.
Not. All right.
Let's do 1,000. But everybody, that's it. That's all the time that we have, unfortunately, tonight. My apologies for the technical difficulties, probably causing us to lose about 20 minutes. But hopefully we were able to answer some of your questions. We will be back again next Monday, right on the dot at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time this time. Otherwise, you can catch myself, Evan, and Alex tomorrow morning on Evan's TikTok, and also here on the YouTube and the Twitter and the Discord, all the stuff, right, on the Twitch. And yeah, you'll see us in the morning, guys. So thanks for coming in. Thanks for hanging with us. Appreciate the suggestions. Thanks for all the likes. Have a good rest of your day. Do good things. Be good people. Make a bunch of money.